The Christopher Jimenez Show starts now. Welcome to the Christopher Jimenez Show. Thank you for listening. This is episode number 32 of my podcast. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the podcast itself. We're going to talk about the NBA, and I have a quote for you that I'd like to discuss a little bit here on the show. So in the beginning, I want to apologize for some of the more recent podcasts. I did recently buy a new snowball mic. It was supposed to help make everything sound better. However, I realized after a couple of recordings that when the mic turned on, for some reason in the Spreaker DJ console, it had this like really warped, garbled sound. So I apologize for that. I'm recording now in Audacity, and I'll import the file, the edited file. Well, slightly edited. I'm not going to go crazy with the editing, but I'm going to import the slightly edited file to that. So hopefully the whole garbled, weird sound at the beginning will not be there. It should be fine now. So I'm back to Audacity. That's where I actually started recording these podcasts with my first one. I think it was about some kind of book review for something. So I'm back at Audacity doing that whole show. So for those of you who have been listening for a while here, know that I've been following the NBA. I'm a big-time basketball fan. Last week I didn't really talk about the NBA at all. There wasn't really much to report, but now we have a finals date set. We have the Heat and the Spurs are set to rekindle the rematch of 2013's finals, of last year's finals. And last year's finals were super exciting, especially for a Miami fan, but I'm pretty sure they were pretty exciting for anyone who loves basketball. I mean, how could you not love? How can you hate the Spurs? And of course, how can you do anything but respect the Miami Heat? So I mean, both clubs are totally worthy of your respect at the very least, even if you're not fans of the team. But really, what I want to talk more so about is are the losers in the two series, both Oklahoma City and Indiana. It seems like those two teams kind of may have reached their ceiling. Maybe not so much Oklahoma City, because you have a bona fide superstar, although Paul George is definitely a superstar. Not quite at the level of Kevin Durant, though, and I think I'm not really making any kind of waves by saying that. But Oklahoma City, really what strikes me about this team is that they would be so much better if they didn't make any moves. I mean, they traded Green for Perkins, and what has that done for them? It was supposed to make them tough, but of course it's really more like a fake toughness. And the guy, when he's out there on the court, he's a liability. I mean, I don't know how many times I saw him take like the last shot. What's he doing shooting? What's he doing out there? When you've got someone like Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, he kind of just plugs everything up. I can only imagine what this team would be like without him plugging things up in the middle. And of course, everybody thinks of Harden, that Harden trade, and how that's really not done what it was supposed to do. I'm pretty sure that they would have a whole lot more firepower if they would have kept him around. So, and also, I mean, I thought these guys were supposed to be draft geniuses, and it's easy to look at yourself and come out looking like a genius when you have the second pick, and Kevin Durant falls to you at number 2. But what have you done since then? I don't know that they've done much. So those are some of the things that I look at, and of course, when you're going to get a coach in there, I mean, someone who will actually run an offense, who will actually force them to play some defense. It's interesting. I heard someone say that, Indiana would never have gotten past the first round if they were in the West. Well, I also heard another person say that they don't play any defense in the West. So, if everybody's scoring at will, and if you have someone who's a defensive juggernaut who can come in and stop an offensive team, like maybe Indiana, they may have actually fared okay over there in the West. So I don't know, but those hypotheticals are really hard to determine and to predict. You can talk all you want, but really, who knows? As far as the Indiana Pacers are concerned, I don't know what to say. I mean, other than blow it up. Vogel, apparently he's in. I don't know what he's actually contributed to the team. I don't like how he handled the season this year. Let's just face it. I mean, see what happened. How did he handle it? He didn't really do much to really resolve the issues or fix the locker room once it apparently got fractured. It seems fractured, at least from the outside looking in. Clearly, you want to build around Paul George. He does have a tendency to disappear, but he does show up sometimes. And when he shows up, it's pretty good. George Hill, he's got to be out. I mean, when you trade Kawhi Leonard for George Hill or a draft pick that turns into Kawhi Leonard for George Hill, that's not a good move. That's actually quite a bad move, and you need a point guard who can at least bring the ball up the court and get you into your offense in a reasonable amount of time. It doesn't seem like he's capable of doing that. I heard that Hibbert wants to leave. He wants to be traded away from Indiana. I don't know what Indiana might be able to get for him, but clearly he's having issues with the locker room. He might not be a good guy to keep around. Stevenson, do you really want to re-sign Stevenson after all his not even after all his antics, but what I've noticed from watching them on the court, and I don't have any of the statistics to back this up, so I'll have to look that up maybe sometime this week. Seems like Stevenson's out there to get his, and when Steven's out there getting his, yeah, he's getting the stats, but he's also not letting Paul George get into his rhythm. And when you're taking the ball out of Paul George's hands, what you're doing is taking the ball out of your star's hands. It's like if Dwayne Wade wanted to chuck up 1 million shots, just to get his stats. Yeah, he could do that, and he could, have a great stats and put the team on his back. But if it's at the expense of getting LeBron James involved in the offense from his ability to create for other people as well as for himself, well, that's a lose. You just lost the battle when you do that. Do Stevenson and Paul George mesh? Some people may say yes, some people may say no. From what I saw in the series, I'd say no, but of course that's only a small sample of what I saw from him in this Heat series. David West, he's a very nice player. He's an excellent player. He's probably the most stable player you have on the team. So from that perspective, you want to keep him on the team. However, if you're trying to retool or rebuild around Paul George, you got to think about what you're going to get for George Hill, Roy Hibbert, Stevenson. You're not going to be able to trade and get much out of them, but for David West, maybe you might be able to get a nice piece that you can actually pair with George. That might turn out to be a superior player, a younger player than David West. So, I mean, I'm not really here to fix the Pacers. I don't really care that much. I mean, I'm a Heat fan. I love the Heat. I love that the Heat were able to squash Indiana once and for good this past game. But, those are some of the things that Indiana has to think about and that I've been thinking about for Indiana as well. Again, not that I care that much. Moving on to this next series. Heat Spurs starting up this Thursday. I have to say it's an even matchup. I've said it before. I'll continue saying it is very even. I was even saying that last year before they even started the series. And it turned out to be true. It turned out to be just one bucket between a Spurs championship and a Heat championship. Everything seems pretty even. I mean, the only thing I would give San Antonio is a coaching matchup. Pop over Spo, although it turns out Spo, in my opinion, outcoached Pop last year in the championship. See Danny Green for the proof of that. Danny Green was on fire the first part of that series, and then we made some adjustments and locked him down. He didn't do anything after that. So, it was Spo made a move. It was Pop's turn to counter, and he couldn't seem to counter. So I would give the Spurs the edge still with Popovich being smart, with him having a whole year to plan for the eventuality that he would see the Heat in the finals, and then So I would definitely give Greg Popovich the coaching edge. However, the best player on the court is going to be LeBron James, no matter what. I mean, you put LeBron James up against anybody on the Spurs. Tony Parker, Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Kawhi Leonard. LeBron's got the edge. I mean, the Spurs are good. The Spurs are great. I would not be surprised if the Spurs win this. In fact, I've got Spurs in 7. Spurs will win if it goes to 7 games. However, Heat in 6. If the Heat are going to win, they're going to win it in 6 games, I believe, on their home court. But if not, if they have to go back to San Antonio, I believe that the Spurs will take it in 7. Turning our interest here a little bit, we're going to turn into holy things. A quote struck me last week. The speaker was Henry Sardina. This was last Sunday, May the 25th. He's actually talking about the love of God. The worship service was centered around God's love for us, and how God, in His love, sent His Son to be the sacrifice for a sinful, lonely world, and he played on that. He kind of took that theme and expanded on it in his message. He was talking about the revelation of Jesus Christ to John, that final book in the Bible, and he had this quote to say, and I think it's something I've been saying for a long time, and I think he summed it up very well. Let me go ahead and play that quote for you right now.
The love of God. So here we are. John wept much because a lot of power is going to be necessary to fix this planet. And there was no man found worthy. And John wept and wept and wept. Do you weep for men? Do I weep for men? Does this world make me weep? And here I say something, oh, God help you and God help me from thinking that we Christians are better than they are. And this false gospel that goes around saying we've got to use laws to stop abortion and we've got to get behind politics to stop homosexuality. And listen, no law of man has ever put true morality into the heart of any human being. What changes the heart of a man is the gospel of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And this whole thing that calls itself Christian today, whose major facade before the country and before the world is, we hate your sin. We hate your sin. Your sin. We're going to outlaw your sin. I'm telling you, that's a dangerous thing. That's a dangerous thing. It's God's love. God's love. God's love that's expressed in the gospel of Jesus Christ, God's Son. God help us in these things.
No law of man has ever put true morality into the heart of man. That is the quote that I wanted to kind of bring up and comment on real quick, because I know that I'm getting kind of close to the end of my normal slotted time here. But hey, the religious right. We take abortion, we take homosexuality, and we want to legislate it. We want to have a theocracy, and we want to be the theocrats who legislate the morality. That's a dangerous thing. To go around and try to say that you're a God of love, you're a loving person, but also you want to condemn someone. At the same time for something that they do. Christians were never told that we're never told to influence the government. We're told to love. And that God would influence the government through our love. Or God will influence individuals through our love. Through His love, which He has given to us. and which we are to in turn deliver to one another. Again, no law of man has ever put true morality into the heart of man. Laws of men have been around, and there have been puritanical laws before. Heck, some of them are still on the books in certain states and can be enforced. Not that they are enforced, but they can be enforced. Doesn't change how man feels. If we were to make abortion illegal in the country, would it stop abortions from happening? Probably not. If gay marriage was illegal in the country, would it cause people to stop choosing a homosexual lifestyle? No. Let's focus on love. Let's be known as people of love. We are supposed to be known by our love. Anyway, I thought that was a great great lesson to think about and to learn. Hey, thank you so much for listening to this podcast. Again, my name is Chris. You can follow me on Twitter at CJMNZ. Follow the blog, WeTalkOfHolyThings.com. My other blog, Go Away, ReadBooks.blogspot.com. Thanks for listening.